They dragged his mother into the courtroom like a criminal. Her hands were cuffed. Her eyes were swollen from crying. Everyone whispered she was guilty. But then, her 10-year-old son stood up in the gallery, heart pounding, suit too big for his small frame, and said the words no one expected. "Your Honor, I am my mother's lawyer." Laughter filled the room. But what he revealed next made the courtroom go silent, and the judge's hands begin to shake. "Sit down, young man," the bailiff said sternly, but the boy did not move. "I said," the boy repeated, voice cracking but steady, "I am my mother's lawyer." The courtroom erupted with murmurs, scoffs, even a few chuckles. His name was Isaiah Carter. He was only 10, but in that moment, he stood taller than any man in the room. From the defendant's box, his mother, Tanisha Carter, covered her mouth in shock. Her tears returned instantly, not from fear, from something deeper, something sacred. Her baby was trying to save her. The judge squinted. "Son, this is not a joke. You cannot speak here. Where's your guardian?" Isaiah's grandmother slowly stood up. "I am, Your Honor, and I did not bring him here to do this, but I beg you, let him say what he came to say. This child has not slept in 3 days. He's been reading every file, every document, every word of his mother's case." The judge looked from the trembling boy to the broken woman in cuffs, and something in his expression changed. "You've got 5 minutes," he said at last. Isaiah nodded and stepped forward. He opened a worn-out binder, clearly put together with crayons, tape, and love, and pulled out a photo. "This was taken the day my mom was arrested. The officer said she resisted. He said she attacked him." He held up the image. "But this shows the truth. She never raised a hand. She was shielding my little sister from getting hit by a car." The judge motioned the bailiff to take the photo. A chilling silence fell. The prosecutor frowned. "This isn't admissible, Your Honor." But Isaiah kept going. "I also have a recording. Our neighbor was watching from her porch. She was too scared to speak up, but she gave me this." He held up an old phone, cracked and taped. The courtroom was no longer laughing. The judge played the recording on a speaker, and there it was. The sound of a child screaming, a mother begging, a cop shouting, and then a thud. Tanisha collapsed in sobs. The judge's hands trembled as he removed his glasses. Why didn't this evidence come to me before?" he asked, voice tight. "Because no one cared," Isaiah whispered. "No one listened. They just saw a black single mom and decided she was guilty." The judge sat back. No one made a sound, not even the prosecutor. The courtroom had gone from laughter to heartbreak, and the judge slowly said, "Son, I need to hear everything you have to say." Please subscribe to my channel if you want to hear what happened next. The truth is even more powerful than you can imagine. The courtroom was frozen. Isaiah's small hands trembled as he set the cracked phone down on the evidence table. His voice, though young, rang with a power no one expected. "My mom did not fight that officer. She was protecting my baby sister, because the cop jumped the curb while texting and driving. Then he blamed her." Everyone turned toward the officer sitting in the back. His face went pale. Judge Harmon leaned forward. "Mr. Tucker, were you the arresting officer?" He hesitated. "Yes, but I—" "Quiet!" the judge snapped. The bailiff took the phone and photo to the clerk. Judge Harmon reviewed them again. The video showed a woman in a red coat, clearly pushing a stroller backwards as a police cruiser mounted the sidewalk. A child screamed. A second later, a hand shoved the baby out of the way. The woman was thrown to the ground and then cuffed while crying for help. It was Tanisha Carter, not attacking, not resisting, protecting. The judge's hands were visibly shaking now. Meanwhile, Isaiah flipped another page in his binder. This is a report from my mom's old job. The day before she was arrested, she told her boss she was going to report unsafe conditions at the store. He looked up. Guess who the store owner was? Officer Tucker's cousin. Gasps erupted. Even the prosecutor leaned back in his chair. I think someone wanted my mom to disappear, Isaiah said, his voice steady now. But I could not let that happen. She is my whole world. Her mother covered her face in her hands, crying into the sleeves of her jumpsuit. The judge turned toward the bailiff. Bring that officer forward, now. The bailiff hesitated, then grabbed Officer Tucker by the arm. He tried to resist until the judge stood up. Let me be clear, the judge said slowly, his voice like thunder. This case is no longer about resisting arrest. It is about possible misconduct, obstruction of justice, and abuse of power. Then he looked at Isaiah. Young man, I have served 32 years on this bench. I have seen seasoned attorneys tremble before me, but you... He paused, clearing his throat. You might be the most courageous soul I have ever met. Isaiah blinked, lips quivering. Your mother will not spend another night in jail. She is free, pending a full investigation. Tanisha gasped. What? The bailiff rushed to uncuff her. She nearly collapsed into Isaiah's arms. My baby, you did this for me? Isaiah held her tight, whispering, I told you I would never let them take you. The crowd, once cold and skeptical, now stood in stunned silence. Some began to clap. Others wept. And the judge? He stood tall behind the bench, watching the mother and son embrace, before saying the words that would echo across the country by morning. Let the record show, this child just changed everything.
The courtroom footage went viral before they even made it home. Millions of strangers watched a trembling little boy, in a suit too big for his tiny frame, rise and say the words that shattered the silence. I'm my mom's lawyer. Isaiah did not mean to become a national story. He only wanted to bring his mother home. That night, Tanisha sat beside him at their chipped kitchen table. Her hand shook as she held a spoonful of soup he had warmed for her, still wearing her orange release clothes. She whispered, I thought I'd never see you again. Isaiah looked at her with soft, tired eyes. I never stopped seeing you, Mama. Not even when they tried to make me forget. Tears slipped down her cheeks. But before she could answer, there was a knock. 2 men in black coats stood outside. Isaiah opened the door cautiously. Are you Isaiah Carter? The older one asked. We're with the State Youth Legal Initiative. We saw what you did in court. Isaiah stepped back, unsure. Tanisha stood up quickly, protective. The man continued, You defended your mother better than many grown attorneys. You exposed a system's flaw. And more than that, you inspired a nation. Tanisha's eyes filled again. We want to offer you mentorship, scholarship, legal education, whatever you need to keep going. Isaiah's voice cracked. You want to help me become a real lawyer? Yes, the man said, because you already are in heart. Before they could react, another knock came, louder this time. Tanisha flinched. It was the district attorney. I know I am the last person you want to see, he said solemnly, but I came to say I was wrong. He looked straight at Tanisha. The charges have been dropped. The officer involved has been suspended pending full investigation, and I want to make this right publicly. Tanisha covered her mouth with both hands and fell to her knees. Isaiah knelt beside her. "Is it really over?" he asked. The DA shook his head. "No, son, it is just beginning. You opened a door for families like yours. You made people listen." That night, the news showed Isaiah standing on the courthouse steps, holding his mother's hand with quiet strength. "I am not just my mom's lawyer," he said, eyes full of fire. "I am every kid who watched their mom cry behind bars when she deserved justice instead." And in homes across the country, people cried with him. He was just 11, but in that moment, he stood taller than the system that tried to break them. 3 weeks later, the courtroom looked very different. This time, Tanisha wore a navy blue suit, not a prison jumpsuit. Her wrists were free, her eyes, still tired but no longer dim. Next to him, Isaiah sat quietly, not in the crowd, at the front table. The judge, a stern woman with silver glasses, cleared her throat. "I read the transcripts, I saw the footage, and I must say, I have presided over thousands of cases in this courtroom, but never have I seen a child argue the truth with such clarity and conviction." Isaiah shifted in his chair, trying not to smile. The judge continued, "What you did, young man, reminded this court of something we too often forget. Justice is not just paperwork. It is people. It is pain. It is truth, spoken boldly." She turned to Tanisha. "This courtroom owes you an apology for the years lost, for the shame forced upon you. You were not only innocent, you were failed." Tanisha swallowed back tears. Isaiah reached for her hand beneath the table. The courtroom was full, every seat taken. People had come from across the state. There were news cameras, civil rights leaders, law professors, and behind it all, silent rows of mothers who knew what it meant to be invisible. The judge took a long breath. "I hereby seal all records related to your arrest. You are free, legally and publicly. And I have one more order." She leaned forward. "Young man, if you will accept, I am nominating you as the first honorary youth advocate of this court." Gasps rippled through the room. Isaiah blinked. I do not even have a diploma yet." The judge smiled. "No, but you have what most attorneys spend decades chasing: courage, heart, and the ability to speak truth in the face of injustice." Cheers broke out in the courtroom. Tanisha wept openly now. Afterwards, as they left the courthouse hand in hand, a little girl ran up to Isaiah. "Were you really your mom's lawyer?" she asked, eyes wide. Isaiah knelt down. "Yes, and one day, you can be someone's too." The girl beamed. A photographer captured the moment. That boy with the soft eyes and steady voice, kneeling beside the next generation. The photo would hang in courtrooms across America, because he did not just win one case, he rewrote the meaning of justice. If this story moved you, please subscribe for more powerful, emotional stories that prove one voice, no matter how small, can change the world.